and then like he ends up losing a bunch too, to the point where he ends up owing me 5,000 total. Like, and I'm like, all right, so what's the deal? And he's like, all right, man, I'm gonna come clean. It wasn't the friend the whole time. It was me using the account. Or then he said something about like he was splitting it with a friend, but he didn't pay him, and I wasn't exactly clear on it. And I was like, well, that doesn't. I can't really control that. You know, I just got to take care of this. And he's like, all right, you know, I'll take care of it in a couple weeks. I just got to get things straightened out. You know what I mean? And this is all like 8 months ago, you know.
Okay.
So several weeks passed without me really hearing from him. And he's doing like the Twitter thing, and he's got some followers for his pics on there. But I tell him about that other forum where it's like it charges you money to be a member. So it's not like you can make free membership and unlimited accounts. It's $5, which is a small amount, but like it seems like that deters a lot of spammers or whatever from going on this forum. So I tell him about it. I'm like, listen, you can use my account. You post your pics on there, and if you build up a good record over like a year or two, right, you can get some good followers, and maybe even we start a site, you know what I mean, make some good money, right? Because I've seen people do this on this forum. You know what I mean? You just got to do like a year or so to have a solid record, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I made clear to that. I'm like, listen, this is going to be a very slow thing. You know, you want to do this right. You want to do it slowly. You want to build a solid record, and that's why I like specified. I was like, do Pick Monitor because they have a 105 line, you know what I mean, which the juice will save. That'll save you a lot of juice in the long run, even though, like I said, that's not really widely available, especially if you're in the U.S. You're not really going to have easy ways to get money on these online sites like Five Dimes or whatever that offer these cheap lines, right?
Right.
So right there, you got an advantage right there. If you're going against the Pick Monitor lines, it's going to be easier to beat. Now, meanwhile, I mentioned before too that he went against this. He stuck with that for like a little while, but then he started going team totals, and that's like he got hot in them at first, and he was up to 40 units, but then obviously, like I said, the team totals, the juice is just too high, and it just chewed right through him, along with him hitting a bad run.
Yeah.
And hitting the bad side of variance. It just chewed right through all that profit, right? Which is what I told him not to do from the beginning. But anyway, this is getting off track. The point
a
is,
little bit.
I told him to use that dime line plan. I told him, listen, I think maybe if you just keep track of your results, we can beat this. You know what I mean? And if so, we can make a lot of money, right? And it's sort of a free roll, right? Because you keep track of your results on baseball games. I'm like, maybe the not gambling aspect will help you. You know what I mean? Because you're not risking money. I told him that. I was like, maybe that'll help you track your results better and actually be able to beat it. If all you're risking is 1 unit per play, you know what I mean? So he starts posting on that forum. He goes down like a couple units right away, and then he's just like, fuck this. I have like followers on Twitter and subscribers on Twitter. He's like, people are going to start paying me for my picks. I'm like, oh, all right. I was like, all right, so let's build a website. And remember, I did mention in that original email to him, I was like, I want to be involved, you know what I mean? I just want a percentage of whatever we end up doing, you know what I mean? I'll help you as much as I can within reason, within my abilities. I have some experience in HTML, some experience in PHP, which aren't lies, you know. I have some. I'm not a professional web developer, but I can like read it and somewhat edit it, you know.
Yeah.
So, no, definitely not claiming to be any level of professional. But so I did that. I told him that, and we, like I said, we ended up building the first iteration of the site, which was really crappy. And then he said I had 10% from that. We ended up doing a reiteration when I went out to visit him again to work on it again in Reno, you know, and that was the whole crazy anecdote there. But we got it done. Site went up, and then, like I said, I was trying to get money out of him, but like it was just so tough. Like one time, he gave me cash because he was up like thousands in Reno. Like he was killing like live betting. He like hammered the Warriors one night, and he like made like 500 on them, and he had hit like every baseball bet that day. So he had like 3,000 in profit or something crazy on the trip, and he was like handing me 100 at a time to knock off the debt. I'm like, you can't give me a little bigger chunk? And then like this latest run up where he had like the 6,600 on an online sports site or whatever, he could have easily cashed it out in Bitcoins and sent me like a significant chunk, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he wanted to do such small amounts, and I was just like, well, at least he's paying me back. Like I can see he doesn't mean to stiff, but he's just like, he's like so selfish, and he wants to slow pay so much, you know what I mean?
Well, that's the nature of a gambling problem, you know, which actually leads me to what I wanted to ask you next is, is what I understand why he trusted you, but what I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this, but like, what made you think that this was a good idea? Like getting involved with him. It kind of befuddles me why. I don't know how long you've followed the thread, but I mean, you know he's unstable. I mean, you had to know, and he has a gambling problem for sure. And I don't know what, like, if you had any motive or you were trying to be nice, because he claims that you were like badgering him.
No, definitely not bad. I mean, I think I sent him 2 emails. I sent him one, and then I sent him another one the next day. I was like, oh, so you're just gonna whoop me in contests and not even respond to my emails or something? Not like badgering, just like sort of teasing email. And that was the second one that he ended up responding to, saying he like felt bad for me or whatever. But like, no, it was just like I think 2 emails total, and it was just saying like, oh, you're whooping me in contests. You know, you beat me for 200, and you might beat me for another 500, and you don't even have the common decency to respond to my emails. That was the type of tone I took there with him initially. And then as for why I did it overall, I just felt like, yeah, he has a gambling problem, but so what? You know, I have a gambling problem. You know, I play poker, and then I'll go and bet sports, you know, stupidly and lose money, you know what I mean? Or, like, go play blackjack at a casino and lose money stupidly. So, like, we all have that inside us.
Right.
So I was like, listen, I have that inside me, too, so why can't, and I'm a good guy, why can't he be a good guy? Which I still think he is on the inside. Deep down on the inside, he is a good guy, but like you said, the gambling just consumes him, and his ego's so big, his belief that he's so smart and so much smarter than everyone else is so strong. His narcissism is just so insane that, like, he refuses to accept that he can be, like, dumb, you know what I mean, which I embrace. I'm just like, all right, I'm a dumb guy, you know, and I happen to have run good at poker in life and, like, you know what I mean, made a little money at it, but I'm just a dumb guy. Poker's a very small part of life, you know what I mean? No one cares, really, that I've been successful in that, you know, it's something that's allowed me to make a little money and survive, which is good, but at the end of the day, it's not that important, you know, and he just wants to make it all that important. Like, he feels like being a professional tout is going to be like this great, glorious occupation. Like, it's not that great an occupation. Yeah, it's something you can make money at, but, like, it's not that, you know,
I know.
that much of a thing to be proud of, you know what I mean?
It kind of reminds me of when I was, like, 19 and thinking I wanted to play poker for a living, and then actually trying that and realizing, like, wow, this is a terrible lifestyle. like I don't. He's kind of stuck in that in my mind, but I can see where you're coming from. Then, like, just getting it seemed like a slow bleed with the money, and then you wanted to recoup your losses, so you helped him out with the website. But did you actually think he has the capability to be like a tout, or were you just hoping that he would get it going and you could recoup a little money?
I mean, I felt that he had the capability with me working together with him, because together we were, like, together you can be greater than, the sum can be greater than the parts individually, you know what I mean?
Right,
So, like, I was motivated. Like, I would email him when he would get down. Like, the first day he was, like, so down. He's like, I can't believe we released under, remember the whole, he's like, I can't believe we released under 156.5 and it landed on 157 and the line closed at 157.5. We should put that back at 157.5. I don't even know what the subscribers got. I'm like, dude, why are you freaking out over one unit? Like, do you realize how many units you're going to swing up and down? And of course he did. He went up 40 units and down. That's a 80 unit swing. And he was freaking out over one unit early on, you know what I mean? So I, like, calmed him down. I kept his head in. I was like, listen, you just focus on capping. I'll do all the technical stuff, you know what I mean? But then it just got too much for me.
Did you ever give him any sports advice or at all? Because it sounds like you know what you're talking about. Oh, you did? Okay.
I did. On one game early on, I, like, told him, I was like, wow, Bumgarner versus Kershaw is, like, plus 160. That's crazy. And I was like, you got to take the Giants, right? You know what? I just, like, sort of encourage, just like bullshitting type of thing. And then he's like, oh, I got to take the Giants. You're right, Bumgarner. And then he, like, sends it out to the customers, right? And this is very early on. This is, like, one of the first weeks or months of the thing. And he ends up losing. And then he 4 months later, he's, like, bringing up, this is when he had, like, the great Giants record, when he was, like, 16-2 or something and picking Giants games in the last 18 Giants games. Like, some of them were, like, Giants unders, but just, like, in games the Giants played, he had an insane record at one point when he was up those 40 units. And he brought it up several times. He's like, I'm 16-2 in Giants games, and I should be 17-1 if I hadn't listened to you on that Bumgarner versus Kershaw pick. Like, he brought it up, like, months after the fact, and I was like, what are you talking about? Listen to me. I forced you to type it and send it out? Like, dude, what are you talking about? And 17-1, like, he just gets fixated on these, like you see the scam pregame touts where they had, like, this article on, like, how most touts are scams, and they're all, like, really down units, but they focus on, like, little streaks. They're like, we're so-and-so in our last 18 plays. And you saw how he was just naturally doing that on Twitter, like, when he was hitting hot streaks and plays. It's like his mind wants to go to that because, like, it's like these guys all think alike, you know what I mean? And, like, I was keeping him in it. I was like, listen, you got to think about this in a long-term perspective. Like, 1 year isn't even that important. Just try to win a couple units a year, and eventually, like, 4 years from now, people are going to look and be like, wow, this guy's, like, up 20 units. He's won 3 units every season. You know, he's pretty solid. You know, I'll get on him.
Yeah, that's. I could see why. It seems to me like as soon as you pieced out of this, like everything's falling apart. So he definitely.
Yeah, he can't even update the pages right. He needed help for that, and then I don't know how is he going to create an August page? Like I was creating monthly pages for him, and this is just one of the many maintenance tasks I was tasked with doing.
Well, if he was really motivated,
on an essentially daily basis,
I think he could figure it out. But I mean, that would involve some googling and. Probably, it seems like his go-to move is to ask other people to help him do whatever he needs to do. So,
and it's got to the point where it's like, why deprive someone of the pleasure of working hard and figuring something else out on their own? Like that's why I don't understand why Albar just fixed it for him. Like you're depriving him of the enjoyment of actually working hard for once in his life and figuring something out on his own, and the satisfaction you get after like using your mind to figure something out and being like, yeah, I can figure it out. I can Google whatever I have to and figure out the right terms and figure out how to fix this page and figure out how to correct this code that is out here, right?
Like I think Alavar,
he lost it.
I think Alavar was more motivated for the Threads entertainment, not necessarily.
No, I can see his motivation, but I'm just saying that was an end result. Like he ended up, and that was just a quote I heard the other day somewhere. It was like, why deprive? Like when these people are asking for help and they never help themselves, like why deprive them of the satisfaction of actually helping themselves? You know what I mean? Just stop helping them. And I've actually had a couple friends like that who like they would call me constantly. They'd be like, man, I need life advice. Oh, you're such a great life coach. So I always be like, listen, I'm a vegan. I show discipline through my diet. That's like what it all comes down. Like not what it all comes down to, but it's like it's one way you can show discipline, and any ways you're showing discipline in your life is good because you're proving to yourself that you can do things. Like I prove to myself that I can't eat meat. You know, yours might be I want to prove to myself that I can wake up on my own at 5 a.m. every day, or you might be I want to prove to myself that I can go a year without drinking because I just don't want to. You know what I mean? Something like that. It can be all these types of things. And I would tell them, I'd be like, you got to do these actions. You can't just keep asking me for life advice. And he'd be texting me. He'd be like, man, things are going tough. You know, Visa texts me, man, things are going tough right now. I'm just so frustrated with those assholes in the thread talking about me. I'm like, dude, just stop reading it. You have the power to just stop reading it completely, and they'll stop talking about you. And he's like, yeah, I know. And then he'll like end up texting the other guy, you know, banned or whatever, and he'll have a quote for the thread, and that'll get the thread going again. You know what I mean? Like, it's all his creation. Like, it would completely die if he stopped interacting with it.
Oh, for sure. So you think you functioned as sort of a life coach for him? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, I wouldn't say I functioned as that because I don't know how much progress he really made. I just tried to give him good advice that, like, worked for my own life. Like I said, I tried to make him eat at good restaurants, and I was like, dude, your diet is so important, even if you don't go vegan. Like, you don't have to go vegan like me, but just, like, going to eat at organic places, right?
Yeah.
And, like, he sort of understood it because he's like, man, I lost 5 pounds eating at these organic restaurants, which happen to have vegan options. They weren't vegan restaurants, but they were all organic restaurants, which was so much healthier than what he had been eating. And he's like, man, I feel so much healthier on this stuff. He would point. So I guess maybe in a sense it did help him, and he showed some motivation. Like he wanted to go to the health store, get some healthy powders or stuff that he started drinking and stuff. But I don't know. I don't really trust that type of stuff. All that unnatural like powders and stuff. I like to get actual real foods like raw fruits and vegetables. Like that's the basic foods. He got like this weird powder, and then I saw the video where his like chin is all big. I feel like this powder is actually making him gain weight, maybe.
How do you
like
feel?
In the wrong places because he's not working out with it. He went to like a workout store that you get like protein powders that you like drink after a heavy workout, and he's just like drinking them in the morning without ever doing any exercise or physical activity of any kind.
Yeah. How do you feel about his high quality fish oils?
I didn't even. I guess I saw him in the apartment, but I don't really have an opinion on that. That's probably not nearly as bad because that's used by quite a few people, and like you've seen the Mediterranean peoples, like just the people in like Italy and stuff. They've been so healthy, and they seem to live, a long time and have decent health overall, from a general perspective, and they've eaten those high fish diets for many years. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if that actually has a slight positive benefit on them. But it's mostly a placebo thing. I mean, there's so many more important things in life, you know what I mean? Diet is like 99% of it, and then supplements is like 1%. So if he's eating a giant steak that's like dripping in red meat and it's like rawly cooked, you know what I mean? And then he's like having that little supplement, like how much is it going to have an effect,
Yeah. No, I actually am agreeing with a lot of what you're saying, with just your observations on diet and life in general. But I have to say, like, to me, it seemed like those months you were helping him, I didn't like it because that was like the most boring the thread's ever been. Because he was listening to you. I could tell he was not posting. He wasn't raging as hard like the few times he did pop up. So he was listening to you for sure. Because I mean, there was nothing going on, and the site seemed like it was running well, and his business was running pretty well. But I have to say, I think he was really listening to you.
Yeah, I mean, and of course the thing is he was winning. So when he's winning, everything is all golden, you know what I mean? And obviously, like I said, I told him not to bet the picks. I told him just to send the picks out and get enough action out of the customers who are betting. Once he's had customers actually subscribed and betting the picks, like why would you bet the picks on your own? Because they're going to win if the picks win, you're going to make money from them resubscribing, right?
Yeah.
But what he ends up doing, he's so overconfident in his ability. And remember, sports betting is a game of tiny edges. He thinks he has a giant edge in a situation where it's impossible to have a giant edge. No one has a giant edge. Billy Walters, these other guys, Haralabov, do not have a giant edge. So how can he have a giant edge? How can he really be smarter than them? If anything, he has a super tiny edge. That's why I said going against the super soft lines and trying to do, just a couple plays a day. I always told him to do less plays per day. He was always trying to come with more plays a day. He was always trying to throw those team totals in. But I was holding him in line for a while, and like I said, when he was winning, he was listening to me. But then once he started losing, he stopped listening to me. He started going even more team totals and stuff. And like I said, it's a small edge. He's convinced he has a big edge.
Yeah,
So it's just never going to end well.
He seems like he has a lot of misconceptions just on gambling and odds in general. But so you're talking about the team totals. And you didn't want him to bet the picks, which is interesting because he seemed to see it as a positive that he was betting the picks.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even finish that thought. Sorry to interrupt, but yeah, the point is, if the picks win, he's already had multiple subscribers, right? I don't know if it was really 24. I think it seems like he was making that up because he only paid me for like 6 or 7 of them, maybe,
Oh, right.
So let's say he had 10 with the ones who signed on before.
I want to get to that soon, the money part, but go on.
Yeah, but let's say he has 10 subscribers, or even let's say he has 5. If they're all betting $50 a game, that's $250 that they win if his pick wins, right? And they're obviously going to use some of that money to resubscribe the next month or the next week, right? So that's plenty of action on your picks. He's going in ahead, and in addition, while we're in Reno, he did this. He bet the picks for cash, $100 or $200 a game, right? And that's when they were hot, remember? So that's when they were winning. But he continued doing this even when we were back because apparently he got hooked up with other credit sites, right? Right? Still owes me from the previous credit site, but gets hooked up with another credit site where he's betting with some guy on Twitter, dude, some online Twitter guy that he can't even trust is going to pay him. But he's just like, no, this guy said he'll definitely pay me. Like, he'll definitely 100% pay me because I know him from Twitter. I have no identifying internet. Like, at least with me, he could, like, call me and be like, say he had won, and he could like call me and be like, "Dude, what the fuck? Can I get paid?"
Was that Steve Peralta?
No, it's not Steve Peralta. This is some other guy on Twitter. No, never interacted with him publicly. They just direct message on Twitter, and like apparently at one point actually he was down to this guy 1,000, and he like didn't have it. This is when we were coming back from Reno, and he was down, and he's like, man, this guy's going to blow me up on Twitter. I'm so worried about the business. This guy's going to blow me up on Twitter for not paying him. Like, dude, it was, like, so crazy. And then, like, I talked to him later, and he was like, oh, yeah, I talked to the guy, And he said it was cool. Like, I can pay him as slow as I want. It's like, duh, obviously, dude, you're a sucker. You're blowing your nuts to him. Like, obviously, he's going to be lenient with you. Like, I don't understand why you're even freaking out in the first place. And
Yeah.
second of all, why are you even involved in this? You know, why are you interacting with a guy on Twitter who could blow you up and ruin the business when, like, you just want to gamble, when you have enough gambling with just sweating the picks and your subscribers are betting them, you know? And he said that to himself. He's like, man, I should really get enough sweat out of these subscribers betting it, right? Right? And I'm like, yes. He would always say stuff like this. He'd like, man, I should switch to a vegan diet or, like, start eating way healthier, right? I'd be like, yes. He'd be like, man, I should start exercising more often, right? I'd be like, yes, you're right, do it. And he'd just never do these things.
Yeah.
So obviously he kept betting the picks, and obviously he must have blown so much. Like, the 6,600 on the online sourcebook must have been blown through in this recent downswing. Whatever other, he probably lost money to this other credit guy if he's still with him. He probably owes him. Like, and remember, this is all when he still owes me. So, like, if you're saying, you think he has a gambling problem? Hello?
Yeah, no,
Hello?
I asked that because, I don't know, to me, I've been gambling for a long time, and I have friends that, like, I know this problem very well. My mom actually has a severe gambling problem, so I would never get into business with anyone that had any kind of problem like this. You know, it's just kind of nuts. You're never going to get your money when you are dealing with that. So I wanted to ask you, to this date, how much money has he given you? Do you have a number?
I mean, it was at 5,300, and now it's at 48, so it was around 500.
So you've got about,
maybe 400. It might have been 52, something like that. So, I mean, it's definitely, I don't think he intends to stiff, you know. People don't pay a small amount if they're going to stiff. They just stiff for the full amount, you know what I mean? But it's just, like you said, the gambling problem is so much more in the forefront that he just doesn't care about the debt, you know what I mean? And there's no real motivation for him to pay. There's nothing I can do to force him except publicly call him out and be like, what do you mean, dude? You can't pay $5? And that, he's just, like, embarrassed. He's like, well, fine, I can pay $5, you know? Well, I'm a beast. I have $5 on PayPal.
I think people with that kind of problem, they'll pay small amounts to get you to...
Yeah, also, because, like you said, it doesn't really affect their gambling. Like, what's $5? That's not going to affect a bet he can make. He's still going to be able to make a $100 bet.
Well, I mean, I'm saying, like, I don't think he had malicious intentions with you. I think he actually, deep down, is a good-hearted guy, but when you get past everything else, and there's a lot to get past, but I think people like that will give you small amounts of money just to make you think, like, oh, he's going to pay me eventually, all the while he's getting you to, like, help him with his site, he's getting diet advice, he's getting... It seems like a lot of things from you that you were giving him for free, so I understand why you're upset, but...
Yeah, I was in contact with him every day. And almost every day I would hear from him, whether it would be life advice, general advice, or stuff regarding the site, improvements to be made, you know what I mean? Which there were little tweaks being done here and there, you know, so that... You know, maybe my estimate of, like I said, maybe my estimate of 200 hours is way high. But like I said, even if you chop that down by 4 to 50 hours, that's still a significant chunk of time. You know what I mean? And again, a lot of it was not done on professional development on the site. That, like I said, it's all just dealing with them and little tweaks and stuff.
Yeah, you know I mean, to me, hearing more about it and your side of it more, it sounds like you were majorly taken advantage of, for sure. Which is why I'm just kind of, like, still baffled why you put yourself in this position. Like, I don't... Which
is okay, dude, because, like I said, I mentioned before, I've been very lucky in gambling. I've run good in poker, definitely. Like, there's no question. Like, when I've taken shots at higher games, I've run better than I should.
So you're not hurting for cash.
You know what I mean? No, it's not that I'm not hurting for cash. I'm definitely not doing great on cash right now, but it's just like, I just really don't care. I just look at it as like another bad beat in poker, you know what I mean? And it was a bad decision by me, no question, to get involved with them initially. But everything from that point on, I feel like makes sense.
Okay.
Just trying to recover it, you know what I mean? Doing whatever I can. And
yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And like I said, it was just a bad decision. I definitely won't be making a type of decision like that again in the future if presented with a situation like that, you know what I mean? This was a new type of thing for me. This whole
for sure.
This whole situation.
Did you just hang out with him that 1 or 2 times? What you said you went over to his house once, and then another time you guys went to Reno. I know, because that story was actually pretty hilarious. But did you hang out with him a lot, or was it just mostly over the phone, email, and that kind of thing?
Yeah. It was the majority was phone and email, mostly email.
Mostly email.
Because like he would always want me to call him, but then he would like all he would do on the phone call is like complain about bad beats. Like because like initially like what happened was he would email me a couple times, then he like called me. This was like the first weekend, and like he started talking about the site and the visions for the site for a minute, and then he like just like started going off on like a couple of games. He's like, I can't believe the fucking Warriors spread pushed -8. Like they were fucking up 16 the whole game, and then in the fourth quarter, blah blah blah. And then he like started going off about another game, like a total. And I just like see where it was going. I was like, he's just gonna vent. He's just gonna call me about the site, but then vent to me about the beats. Like I don't care. And I was like, all right, dude, I gotta go. And I just hung up. And then from that point on, whenever he would have a losing day, he'd email me. He'd be like, can you call me? Call me. And like he'd try to call me, and I just like not answer him. And then he'd be like, looking back, he's like, oh, he would not answer my calls. Like, hello, dude, you're calling me to complain about beats. Like, I'm not going to answer that, obviously. And, like, I did talk to him on the phone, a couple times. But, like, he would want me to call him, like, every other day, you know what I mean? Anytime he had a losing day, he'd want to call me, you know what I mean? And I only wanted to call him, like, when we set up the redesign, you know what I mean? When we made the plans for that and tried to figure out a template for that, I did call him, you know what I mean? Spoke to him for about half hour or so and straightened that out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like I said, we actually went out to Reno and did the work. Like, I did all the work, you know what I mean? But he, like, looked at it. He was like, yeah, that looks a little, you know what I mean? Like, maybe the Curry picture should be, you know what I mean, a little shorter on the bottom, and then I'd shrink it by 50 pixels or whatever, you know what I mean? So I'm doing all the work. He's helping me with the vision a little bit. And then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds like you guys.
And then I'm like, wait a minute, you said you were going to boost me a higher percentage. And at this point, this is stupid by me again. Like, I was making bad decisions the whole way, looking back, because with the percentage thing, you know, I'm doing all this work, you know what I mean? Like I said, even if it's not a professional site, I just wanted my fair percentage, but I didn't make that clear enough to him, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But definitely it was on me big time there. If I had said, like, this is the type of thing, if I had said when this started off, if I had been like, listen, I'm going to be doing all the work, I'm taking 60% of this business, you're taking 40, and just straight out said that, like, he would have been 100% on board. That's the type of thing. That's how desperate he was to have me on board, and how desperate he was to have me do the work on the initial site.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
I mean, because
and then he got to feeling like he was in way too much a position of power, and like almost like I was his employee. And I kept telling him, email him, like, dude, we're partners. Like, you can't keep talking to me like I'm your subordinate. And I was like, dude, like, it's just out of line. Like, stop, like, blowing up my phone and emailing me all day about, like, stupid shit, dude. And he just, like, would not get it. Like, he just, like, go right off. You know what I mean? Anytime you escalate emotionally with him, he just escalates more emotionally.
Oh,
like,
for
that
sure.
was the whole thing in Reno. Like, when I, like, started getting real pissed at him, because, like, it's 6 a.m. He had offered me to, like, come to Reno and stay with him in a room. Like, I'm expecting he's going to allow me to sleep when I want to sleep. And he's just, like, so drunk and belligerent, and he's not letting me sleep. He's rippling through all the stuff extremely loudly, turning on every light, like the bathroom lights and shit, dude. Like, you really need those lights on? He's like going through the entire fucking room, and I'm like, dude, you're out of your mind.
So that story's been talked about a lot. I think people are
there's nothing more really into details about. I've gone in such detail on that. You know, I may be questionable in some of the things I've said, but that one, I think, like you said, everybody in the thread pretty much has said that it has the ring of truth to it. You know what I mean? The details might be slightly off, but I'm not trying to embellish anything there.
I know the weirdest thing is that you guys are telling the exact same story, which never
he's
happens.
Just saying he doesn't remember parts, and I'm saying, okay, here's exactly what happened in those parts you don't remember. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys are telling the exact same story from different perspectives, which is funny because usually in a business disagreement or personal disagreement, there are two completely different stories, and you got to filter out, you know, all the biases. But I mean, you guys are saying the exact same thing, so I mean, it has a ring of truth to it.
Yeah, we're pretty much on the same page there.
So that's the weirdest thing to me about this. But did he ever talk to you about any other parts of his life, like more specifically? I don't know if you're familiar with his old roommate, the Asian gal.
Yeah, when I went there to see him, she was still living there actually the first time, but she was out. She had that was like it's actually that was like a month after she had moved in. So like I guess she was out for the weekend. She had driven 7 hours down to LA to quote unquote visit family. So we can probably pretty much surmise what that was.
Okay.
She got a little tired of Beast's company with him just,
Do you know that for sure, or was
buying
it
her
just?
dinners. And
Oh my
do
gosh.
I know that for sure?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Do I know for sure that she went
Like
to
she
L.A.
was
that
like no, like she was like
weekend?
getting sick of him, so she took off.
Oh
Or,
no, I can't tell that because I never actually saw her in person. Like I said, she was down in L.A. that weekend
oh, okay.
visiting family, and then apparently she moved out shortly after that. So the next time I saw him, she had already moved out.
Did he talk about
And
that,
all he said
or?
about
Oh, okay.
he talked a little bit. He was just like, man, she was good looking or something. And I'm just like, yeah, so why didn't you hook up with her? And he was like, yeah, man, I took her on hikes, I took her to the movies,
Yeah,
or shit, or whatever he did. I'm just like, dude, but like, did you make a move? Like, you gotta make a move. He's like, yeah, I don't know.
well,
Like, I don't know. It was unclear. It's pretty clear. Like, he would, it was weird because like when we were in Reno, he would he texted me like, he's like, dude, this waitress at the Gold Bar Lounge is so gorgeous, dude. Like, you have to come see her. Like, come look at her, dude. I was like, dude, what? Like, meanwhile, I'm like in the sports book, or I'm like up in the room working. I'm either like in the sports book degenning my nuts off, or I'm up in the room working on the site. One of the two things. And he's like texting me saying I need to come look at this waitress because she's like the best looking girl he's ever seen in his life.
yeah.
So I end up going down there, and he's like, this is the one he's like talked about before, I think. So like this is like he's like known her for like multiple years, and he's like, dude, I can't believe she remembers me. It's like, dude, you sitting there ordered Newcastles from her like 200 times. Of course she's gonna remember you want a Newcastle. Like, dude. And plus she's paid to be nice to you. Like, dude, you not understand this? And he's like, no, dude, no. And just like, he's just hopeless with that. Like, I tried to talk to him. I'm like, dude, if you want to get girls, you have to like exercise, get yourself in better shape, and just have some more confidence, dude. Like, even just like fake confidence, you know what I mean? And just fake it till you make it.
Oh,
I'm
that's
trying
what
to
I
help
do.
him, you know what I mean? And he
That's
just
what I
like,
do.
yeah, he doesn't get it. He's just like, you can't even talk to him about it. He's just so,
Yeah,
he's
so
like a 12-year-old.
I don't think you were around
He's
in the
like, that
thread.
girl's so hot, dude. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, pal.
Yeah, when we I don't know if you're around for the thread when his we call her Tack. I don't know if you know that, but when Tack moved in, he was calling her his girlfriend, like before he'd even barely talked to her. So his views on women, to say the least, are pretty they're pretty weird. But yeah, and then the waitress stuff. He would post pics in the thread of like creeper pics of girls that didn't know their pictures were being taken, and he would post them in the thread. The same kind of thing you were saying, just this girl's so hot, blah blah blah. She remembers me and all this stuff. So yeah, that's so that was my actually one of my main questions, which is a little anticlimactic. You don't know why she moved out or anything?
No, I have no information on that. No information from him other than I guess he just had said like she got tired of, she wanted to move back towards LA to be closer to family or something, some kind of excuse like that. You know what I mean? That was the official story. So I don't know what the real story was, but it was never really brought up because I was trying to help him not focus on her. Like I said, I was trying to help him out, be a wingman type of thing. You know what I mean? We went out to a couple restaurants. You know what I mean? Maybe at one point maybe there was a girl, I think, and I'm like, hey man, go talk to that girl, and he just drinks his beer
no
and
way.
doesn't talk to her. You know what I mean? I'm like, dude, you're drinking a beer. You got confidence.
So
You got liquid courage.
does he still do coke?
No, he said he was on that Xanax when he was drinking, which he still claims he's
so
never
stupid.
done, but
So stupid.
he claims that girl was trying to give him coke too, but it was bad, and he didn't even use it. So hopefully he's not doing that anymore, which would be real bad for him. But yeah, I don't know.
Does he still smoke?
The last hard drug I know of was the Xanax. I can confirm though that a beast is on Tinder. So he is still looking. He still is looking for love actively. But I looked at some of the messages. And it was just like, it's the same shit. It's like he messages the girl on Tinder. He's just like, "Hey, you're so hot." Like, no girl is ever gonna, like, be like, okay, I'll come over right now, you know what I mean? Like, he's never like, hey, what's up? It's just like, hey, and they're like, hey, and he's just like, you're so hot, by the way.
Yeah, I
I'm
gotta
like,
say,
dude, you can't
that's
mess.
probably
I'm like,
never worked.
dude, you can't message them like that. I'm like, you gotta message them, like, what's up, and have a little convo. And he just, like, doesn't get it. He's like, huh? He's like, they never respond.
That's
And I'm
generally
like, well, your
experience all the
pictures
time.
are of, kind of chubby guy, so
Do you think he's
might want to get yourself in shape, pal. But
yeah, do you think he's actually 180 pounds, or do you think he weighs more than that?
it's got to be more than that. Like I said,
It's gotta be more than that.
there's no effort going on, dude.
Yeah, the few pics
He's just
shown.
like that other guy says. He's just super lazy. Like we all want to see the best for him. He's just so lazy and just doesn't get it.
Well, I gotta say, like, I definitely don't wish harm on the guy. I don't want anything bad to happen to him, but I could give a shit if his life works out or not. I mean, he's said so many things to me and other people that are just so over the top. Like, what made me snap was when he started talking about my dad who passed away, and that was just like, dude, what is wrong with you? No one, no, like, who does that really? Or like the wishing cancer, which actually I have been guilty of, so I can't talk about that. But I mean, it's hard to feel bad for the guy, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's just like it's so self-inflicted and so just ridiculous. I mean, I feel really bad for you, honestly. Like, I don't know how you lasted. What was it? Like 4 months, 5 months with him?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through my emails right now. I basically just ignored that because I sort of like, and I would even tell him, I'd be like, dude, I know you're an emotional guy. I just ignore it when you have those outbursts. You know what I mean? But like you said, he just kept getting worse and worse. He just kept getting more and more detailed and personal. And like, even when I told him, I was like, dude, sometimes I'm trying to like spend time with family and stuff. My dad's older, I'm trying to spend time with him. And he was just like, he responded back. He was like, all right, dude, I understand. Take care of your dad. And then like, within like 24 hours the next day, he was like, what's going on? Look at the site. There's blanks, blah, 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 blah. I know it's difficult for you to respond like a normal human being and respond normally, but I need your time, blah, 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 blah. Please don't let me down, Let's build something together, blah, blah, blah. I'm having everything overhauled. That was when he was having it redone, which ended up going back to my design.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm really curious on is, do you think he actually has a plan to revamp? Because it doesn't seem like it's going to change at all. I don't see it.
Well, the Fiverr thing was a disaster, and I told him Fiverr was going to be stupid. I was like, listen, because I went on there, and I was trying to talk to people, explaining to them, like, we need an automated thing where he can just, like, type raise under, and, like, it'll put it up in the spreadsheet. It'll put it up in a fucking HTML file, and, like, we don't have to worry about manually updating. Now, meanwhile, like, everyone on Fiverr was like, yes, I can do this task. Please send me 200 rubles, and I will respond I will, like, some horrible English, like, clearly didn't understand. They're just like, yes, I build said page. Like, I'm like, all right, what are your details on how you're going to make the spreadsheet or the database? They're just like, yes, I connect to database. Yeah. In Soviet Russia, database connect to you. Or something like, I'm just like, what, dude? And then he ends up going and spending, like, this is like while we're still together. This is right before he splits me off. He's like, by the way, I just spent 200 on someone on Fiverr to fix the site completely. I'm like, oh, good. Like I posted an email, which was one of the earliest ones, where there's a quote where I say, like, dude, you might want to get a real professional web designer or a professional graphics guy at least to look this over and make it look good, right? If you want to do this right.
Yeah, no, he
obviously went with
like
the cheapest option. He went with the cheapest option, which was me doing everything for free for a hypothetical percentage, which I just got robbed of.
Yeah.
All the graphics work, everything, but what's this crazy shit going on with you? Basically, sorry, what was my train of thought? I just got a train of thought. But yeah, the Fiverr thing. The Fiverr. He ends up spending $200 for this guy. They put out the 3.0 site, which people did say looked a little better, right? But it was all screwed up. It was like the result, RESULD, like the all-time result. It was like, what's the result?
It was still terrible. It was.
Yeah, it was still terrible, but just like maybe aesthetically, like I could have fixed it, right? If I had taken that code and filled it and corrected all the errors, you know what I mean? I think it would have been a better site, a 3.0, right?
Yeah.
But at that point, I'm like, dude, you're asking me to overhaul this entire site now?
Yeah.
Like, after all the maintenance I've been doing, like I said, I'm going through the emails. There's literally an email every day, July 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. 4 emails a day each of those days. June 30th, 6 emails. June 29th, 12 emails. Well, some of those are plays, though.
Yeah.
Some of these are plays. But June 27th, one email about the site. He's like, question mark, what's going on? Are you still alive? What's going on? There's a ton of shit I'd like to get done, and you've been MIA. Like, he's expecting me to do all this shit for no increased percentage or whatever, or anything, and then he wants me to overhaul the whole site on top of it.
Yeah, no.
And I'm just like, dude, what are you thinking? Like, I told you I'd give you help within reason, like maintaining it, which was easy. You know what I mean? You just got to update the results. I was correcting it if there was errors. You know what I mean? Which took a little time, but I was all right with doing it. But like,
so what are your plans from? I mean, of course that email's been posted like 1,000 times by him that you sent him. Do you have any plans to recoup your money, or is anything in place, or do you want to? Maybe don't want to disclose that, I don't know, but do you have...
No, I mean, I did register the LLC way before him. I'm way ahead of him on that. I still could pursue that if need be, but now at this point he's got a losing service and a couple customers who are on free service for this month, next month, and next month at this point, right?
Yeah, but...
So it's almost like it's not even worth it. I shouldn't even... I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, it doesn't seem worth your time at this point. Like, I was going with those plans when he was still up 20 units.
But have you ever thought of, like, even, like, small claims court? I mean, that could be really productive for you, because the amount is small enough. I think it's like under 5,500 or something. I don't know the amount, but, I mean, I feel like you could just take this to small claims and be like, look, I did this amount of work. You can prove to some degree that he made money. I was owed 10%, where is it? And I feel
well, no, he paid me the 10% for those, like I said, he paid me for the 6 real subscribers or so. So I can't claim that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely did.
Okay.
Like I said, I did all the work. He flipped coins, he ran hot at flipping coins, then he ran cold at flipping coins. I did all the work behind the scenes. And now you can see why, like you said, it's basically falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to implode, like, any day now. But, yeah...
Here's what happened. Here's an email from after, like, when he's in a good mood. This is May 25th, so 3 months ago. Or, wait, July. 2 months ago? Yeah. He goes, good work. I just sold a subscription for $800 because of your betting talk thread. That's what I'm talking about, pal. And when you say things like, I want to make our site the best in the world, that's the kind of talk that puts me in a frenzy, and that's what I want to hear. I hope you genuinely mean that and can't wait for that to happen, because when it does, we are both going to be rich. Keep at it, man. We can sell way more. Help me. So, like, I'm helping him sell a subscription, and he's, like, so happy because, remember, he's only giving me I think 15% at this point. So, like, he sent me 15% of $800, right, which is $120. Remember, this is basically me selling the subscription.
Yeah.
And he had told me at one point, he's like, any subscriptions that are the direct result of you get 50% of. But obviously, he only gave me 15% of this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see, like, because he did do a lot of selling. But, like, if you look at, like, sales commissions for, like an auto dealership, what does a salesman make? Like 10%, right? On a sale?
But at
and
this
the dealership
point,
makes the other 90%?
At this point, I feel like it's more about, like, not what's fair, but, like, what you guys had agreed to. And it seems like he fulfilled most of his end of the bargain. I mean, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. I don't see really you having much of a chance here of getting any more money from him because you've pissed him off, so he's not gonna,
Yeah, well, no, on regards to the site, well, although if my version still stays up, he did say he's going to still honor a percent. He went down to 10%, which is ironic. He always goes to the lowest possible, but he's like, he did say that if he sells more subscriptions while my version's up, that he would still pay my 10%. But that's contingent on him not getting a new version up, which is still unclear at this point. He says he's got a new developer who's, like, holding him hostage now. So who knows how that's going to go. And second of all, he's got to get up units again and have people actually want to buy a subscription. So those are two very, very contingent things.
Yeah,
But he did say he would still honor it if it's still my version of the site up, and so which would be fine, you know what I mean? And I'm not too concerned because, like I said, I think this thing's just going to crash and burn anyway, you know what I mean? I hope it doesn't, but it just seems so unlikely that he can win, right?
Yeah, I mean...
And here I got an email on May 18th. for you a thread of emails, right? Remember, this is 7 days before he said, "Thank you so much, I love you, thank you for helping me make that sale." This is 7 days earlier, right? Subject is thread. Tell that cocksucking moron that first 5 inning wagers and team totals are not offered on Wager Minds. This is when there was a discrepancy between the Wager Minds accounts. He goes, "I won't be sending you any more pics until you post to that moron, clowning the shit out of him for being retarded and clarifying that point. And please make sure you embarrass him hard for how fucking unbelievably dumb he is. All these retarded losers." And then I post, I do it, right? But I say to him, I say, "Right now I'm technically a verified witness to all the pics. If you stop sending me, I won't be able to verify anymore personally that the record is correct. I won't be able to say online with 100% confidence that they're real picks. Also, I sometimes like to bet myself, and yesterday I took the Giants, and they won.
Standard.
And that was a play. And it's only fair. You also gave me your word that I have a lifetime subscription." He gave me his word that I have a lifetime subscription, but he also cut off my subscription a couple weeks ago, which,
snapped off.
his word obviously doesn't mean much. But yeah, I have this in an email from May 19th. I can screenshot it. But yeah, he gave me his word. His reply to that is, "Dude, you are really starting to annoy me with all this BS. This is such a one-way street of me getting raped, and I'm getting sick of it. Of me getting used." I can't tell. It looks like he has a typo there, but it looks like used or raped, and I'm getting sick of it. This is him sending the email to me on May 19th.
Yeah.
That he's saying it's a one-way street. Is this insane?
Yeah, I mean...
And then he goes, May 19th, this is a later email, "I've had it. Today is your last day of getting pics. This is fucking bullshit, and I'm getting fucking infuriated."
So
this is on May 19th, when he's still up units, too.
That was like
and
2
things still
months
doing
ago.
good. Yeah.
Oh,
He
damn.
goes, and then he goes, "Dude, just the fact that you're saying my record needs to be verified is pissing me off. I track them on multiple sites anyway, and I would never fabricate or alter results anyway." Well, we know that's not true.
That's the thing that...
So stop with that bullshit right now.
That's the thing that really confuses me, because I'm pulling it up right now. It seems like all his different sites on Wager Minds, and like, I don't remember his Wager Minds profile actually, but I mean, they're all different. They have different picks on them. Like, they know.
Yeah, it's completely unprofessional. And I told him from the start, I'm like, "Dude, if you're going to do that, you should have them at least match." And he's like, "No, I have to do it this way, and if anybody asks, I'll explain to them that it's Wager Minds doesn't have the so-and-so thing,
Oh, yeah,
and
it
it's this
doesn't have
pick monitor account from this date to this date, and then it's this pick monitor account from this date to this date, and blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, "Dude, it's just so complicated."
But
Oh,
that's
let me
the
just finish
thing-
this email. Let me finish this email. It's on May 19th,
All
dude.
right.
This is after he says, "I track them on multiple sites and would never fabricate or alter results anyway. I'm sick of doing all the fucking work. You are capable of creating a much better site, but you are too motherfucking lazy to ever do any fucking work, and it irks me every motherfucking day. You can't even put up the goddamn newsletter sign-up page," which I did, a couple days later, or a couple weeks later. I fixed the newsletter sign-up page. "Fuck this partnership. Am I insane?" Once again, he's still referring to it as a partnership on May 19th. "Am I insane for trusting you and counting on you to help make this a better business? Yes. Remember, that's when I've done all the work, done nothing but help him. All I've done has been somewhat slow to do the work. Like, I've been like, all right, I'll get the newsletter sign-up page up in a couple days, right? And then I got to do the newsletter sign-up page, which means I got to code something in PHP to, like, put it into a database. I think we had a database with the hosting site that we had, or it's currently on, which is Alentis, I believe. But, I had to code that all from scratch, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
and people are saying, that's not professional web development. No, it's not professional, but it still takes time, and it's still something, you know what I mean?
I get it. Like, I didn't want to shit on your site at all. I hope because that's gotta hurt. Like,
I know, because I understand the visual. The visual is the most important. Like, it's 90% visual, and that's not my best. I've admitted. Like, I send him in the original email. I'm like, "Dude, I'm not a graphically minded. I never took an art class in school. Whenever I tried to draw something, I'd compare my drawing to, someone else's drawing, and I'd be like, I had a friend who was really good at drawing, and he'd draw, a guy, throwing a football. I'd be like, wow, that's sick. I try to replicate it. It looked like a stick figure, dude, like a stick figure with a circle in his hand. And I'm like,
oh,
dude,
yeah.
how do you draw? I've just never had that capability, you know?
I could totally
I'd like to
identify
develop
with
that part of my mind, but I just haven't developed it yet, basically.
Well, I mean, some people are like front end people, like the graphic designers, and then other people are like back end people. I'm more of a back end guy. I'm sure people will like that innuendo, but I mean, like, I've done, like, server coding, PHP, that kind of stuff, but, like, this front-end stuff, like, I gotta say, I honestly, probably, if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't have made that website that you made even look half as good, so, I mean, I didn't want to shit on your, because I know, like Larry Legend is actually a web dev, and
Yeah.
He's...
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. The average layman who's never done web code could not do that, and Babs would obviously fall under that category.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I have no complaints about the site. I think you did okay, but I mean, it works.
From my abilities and my perspective, and what I told him I could do and advertise, I think I did fine. Really. So thank you for that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel honestly really bad for you. Like, I didn't think that it would go this way, because I mean, I think the general impression from you, like, in the thread towards you, has been like you guys were both kind of trying to get something out of each other, but to me it sounds like just you got in a bad spot.
He definitely came out. Like I said, I did all the work, and he got 85 to 90% of the benefit from it, of the money we made. So who while flipping coins. So who got off on who? Maybe I got over on him in the sense that I got a percentage of him when he ran hot flipping coins that I otherwise wouldn't have gotten. But I did all the actual work. I'm the one who spent actual time, So I'm just saying that could be. Yeah, I'm just saying that could be a devil's advocate argument. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I put up a crappy site, and then he was up money handicapping, and I got money out of it from a crappy site that's worth nothing. That's a devil's advocate argument. I can see the perspective for that.
I have to say, like, if you're gonna go that route, the site is functional. I mean, say what you will about it, design-wise, it works. Like, it's got the pages, it's got the results, it's got the packages outlined. It's got a. Oh, I wanted to ask, what happened with the PayPal? I noticed it's not donations anymore. It's like a legit PayPal button.
Oh, he sent me improved PayPal links at one point, and like I said, this was all part of the maintenance of the site, little tweaks here and there that took me a couple hours, that added up. He's like, listen, here's the new PayPal buttons. I got to go through on that page and make sure those all look right, make sure they all link right. I got to test them. Make sure the numbers are right. At one point, he had a PayPal for the full year package, and it was charging people $4,000 on their PayPal instead of $2,000, which was supposed to be. It was double charging them for some reason for the yearly package. So I was like, dude, you got to fix this, et cetera, et cetera. The time all adds up, But that's what at some point we upgraded the PayPal buttons. Yeah, I recall that.
Okay, because I know people were saying PayPal snapped them off or something because they don't like if you're doing donations or whatever he was doing before, it's gambling related, you could get in trouble or stuff like that. But
it's way too small for it to even be on their radar at this point. I mean, he might have to worry about that at some point in the future if it gets huge, and look at what these other guys like Dr. H and Raz do, taking credit cards. But like I said, there's virtually no chance it even gets to that point. I mean, these Raz and Dr. H guys, they probably spend 12 hours a day just handicapping. Just going over the games and being like, blah, blah, all right, this guy's playing, all right, let's see, let's think about how these guys match up, you know what I mean? Whereas Beast is on these publicly available sites that are just oh, this ERA, this guy's got a 2.32 ERA in his past 4 games. He must be a fantastic pitcher. Never mind that he's pitched for only 2 years in the league and he's just maybe run hot. All his ground ball, all his hard hit line drives have been right at a shortstop or a third baseman, you know what I mean? Stuff that's not taken into account by that ERA number.
Yeah, no, for sure. So Beast is actually listening right now, I think.
Of course he is. He can't help himself, dude.
I don't think he was, but
he has to.
He just started because the thread's starting to get. Says here's what he just said. HIV, you're a retard, dude. A complete and utter moron. You were never willing to do any work, so I had to hire someone new. We talked about this, you and I. And your own threat and email did it to yourself. Even a self-admitted complete moron like you should be able to understand this. Even if you are trying to blame me for anything, you're an epic level retard. So, I guess...
I mean, I don't even have to respond to that. He's not even really disputing anything I said. He's basically just confirming it, just from his perspective, that I did no work. You know what I mean? Which is just a perspective thing.
with the email, which he posted again. Like, we have not seen it before.
Yeah. All right. Here's some emails from April 23rd. All right. If you remember April 23rd, something screwed up and the pages were like chopped off. There was no results. So April 23rd, dude, what did you do to the site? Another email. Call me right now. I was like away or something. I wasn't even at my computer, but I ended up. He sends a screenshot where it basically looks screwed up. Oh, I remember the bottom picture was like screwed up, and you guys were tooling on him in the thread. He sends me another email. Would you mind telling me what the fuck is going on? What the fuck happened to the site? And I send back, what are you talking about? Because I look at it in my phone and it looks fine. It looks fine on the phone, right? It's only on computer browser that it looks fucked up. He goes, in all caps, look at the fucking site. Are you blind or dumb? Which is it? Another email. Call me right now. Another email. I swear to God, I am so close to pulling the plug on this whole thing, dude. How is it possible for the site to undergo a change like this without tampering? It isn't. What the fuck are you doing? Another big capitals. Hello. Another email. You drive me fucking nuts, dude. I can't do this shit anymore. Another time. Another email. Fuck the site up one more time and you will regret it.
Oh, man.
Another email. Another email. I think this is me replying. I gotta go to the next page. What the fuck is going on? The truth one fucking time. This is me. Nothing. I have no idea what you're even talking about. Everything looks fine to me from multiple browsers. This is at this point I got home. I think this is real late at night. You were really losing it, dude. Get a good night's sleep or something, man. And then an email from me a few seconds later when I actually see what happened. Never mind, I see what happened now. You tried to delete the Google Plus thing from the homepage. Well, knowing dick about coding. Remember we had a Google Plus thing on the homepage?
Vaguely.
He didn't like that. He didn't like that because it had no followers, right?
Okay.
So he deleted himself this day and then completely forgot that he did it. And that's when he blew me up with, like I said, I just read you, what was that, 15 emails in the span of a couple hours?
Yeah, no, I don't find that hard to believe at all because just the history of the thread.
Well, you see how he posts in the thread when he posts. He just gets going, you know what I mean?
And he wants a response in like 30 seconds because he's impatient, so...
Yeah, literally 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, he finally responds back, my bad, bro. I totally owe you an apology, man. I totally forgot that I altered the coding by taking out the Google Plus thing. I need to not change stuff in the coding. You're right, dude. The stress and lack of sleep is really catching up with me. Mea culpa, buddy.
Mea culpa.
And then I say, no worries, I understand. Or just remember to take everything in moderation. We'll take care of everything. He responds back, I feel really bad for the way I treated you. I'm sorry, bud. Thanks for being such a cool and understanding guy. So he really is capable of, like, self-reflection. It's just when his emotions get riled up, he's got that Persian passion, you know what I mean? I know other guys who are Persian. I got friends.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Like, in my town, they when they get mad, they don't think about anything, you know what I mean? They're not capable of rational thought. So, like, that's why I just, like, stopped responding to them, you know, in certain situations.
Have you heard of borderline personality disorder?
Yeah, but I don't buy into all those so-and-so things because I feel like everybody's different. Everybody's unique in a way, you know what I mean? You can put a label on these type of things, but, like, things like that, maybe that's a little more realistic than something like ADD or ADHD, but, like, if you look at a concept like that, right, what did kids always used to do? They always used to play and be wild and rambunctious, you know what I mean? And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, you got to take these drugs, which are basically meth, straight meth speed, which they give to kids, and they're like, this is calming them down. Like, I have nephews that, like, take that, and they're like, they hate it. They hate how it makes them feel, but they're like, the doctors are, like, pushing, you know what I mean, because the pharmaceutical companies, it's all a big corrupt thing, you know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. Bringing back to the point of this guy having some kind of disorder, yeah, of course he's got, you know, he would have some kind of disorder if he talked to a psychiatrist or something. They'd classify him with something and try to put him on some kind of drugs. But, I mean,
do you think
that's not how life should be. You know, life is that way. He should be allowed to go off and become extremely passionate about things. You know what I mean? As long as he does not harm himself or others, which I don't really think. You know what I mean? Like I said, I maybe felt a little uncomfortable with him in the car or in the room, but I never really thought he was going to harm me or others.
Yeah, I actually,
never once.
Oh, so you didn't, because your version of the story was that you just agreed to the 15% thing because you felt like you were, like, in danger. Is that what you said before?
Well, yeah. Well, now can you understand a little more from my perspective? Because, like I'm saying, he's at this point 100% convinced that he's a CEO and I'm a lowly employee. So, like, and now I'm realizing I just screwed myself by doing all this work on the site. Because, like, I'm the type of person who, like, I sort of just do this stuff for enjoyment. I'm like, I want to prove to myself that I can rebuild this site to a real semi-professional thing. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's not the level of something Larry could do, but it's something above the level you could do. So, like, I just sort of got it done there in Reno, the 2.0 version, for, like, my own satisfaction, and also because I did legit believe I had a 10% of this site for life. So I'm like, if I get all this work done, I'm going to be able to sit back, and suppose this thing gets real big and hot, I'm just going to be able to sit back and collect for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Not realizing, you know, it's a bad idea to not get contracts with this volatile guy and so forth. But, you know what I mean? This is my thinking, and I power through it. It took a couple days, several hours each day, but we get the 2.0 site going out. And then on the ride home from Reno, I'm like, sort of like thinking, man, I just screwed myself. This guy thinks he's like a complete boss to me. And that's when I'm like, all right, come on, dude. Are you going to bump me at least to 15%? Because I just like feel like I got to get something at this point. You know what I mean? Because like he's still talking about how I got 10% and like I might go higher in the future, which like he would always say. You know what I mean? If he wants more work done.
Yeah.
He, at this point, he feels like he can just promise me a hypothetical higher point in the future. I'm like, wait a minute, let's nail this down. I just did a bunch of work. Let's at least bump me to 15%. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and at this point, he goes like,
all
right, I need your technical help. Then, you know, I need you to be available technically for life. And I never agreed. By the way, I never once agreed that if my version of the site goes down, that my percentage goes away. I never once consented to that. That's a complete fabrication in his mind. I would never consent to that because why? If I have 10% of something for life, why would I consent to going up 5% more if I give it up for life if the site goes down, which it probably will at some point? We even admitted that it needed work, and it was just a rough draft of what we needed, like a more final copy of. So I would never agree to that, but I may have agreed, you know, I said, like, yeah, I'll give you technical help within reason, obviously, you know what I mean? Like, because obviously I'm going to maintain the site if I have a percentage of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, we've...
But I never, ever consented to his claim of, okay, buddy, I'll bump you to 15%, but if I stop using your site, the percent goes to 0. Never would I ever agree to that in a million years. And I genuinely, like you said, yeah, maybe I had some possibility that it wouldn't be honored. But I genuinely thought, like, listen, if this guy at least stays true to his word, at least I'll have 10% or 15% now of a enterprise that could be making a lot of money someday. You know what I mean? I'm looking at these other businesses that make a lot, like Dr. H and Raz, and I'm like, yeah, a small percentage of them would be still worth a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Considering the work I've done, you know what I mean? Like you guys said, it's not that much work. It is some work. It's not a professional website, but like the guy LKJ said, he derived value from it. Like he got customers to sign up. Like that email with the betting talk thread, there was a link to the Neonomics.com site in the betting talk thread where some guy signed up for an $800 worth of MLB package when he was up like 40 units. That guy's down like 50 units now, you know? The guy got brutalized.
Yeah,
and he had to pay $800 for the package.
We've talked about all this before.
Yeah, I don't want to rehash too much, but yeah, I just wanted to clarify the whole 15%, you know. I sort of just like said what I was just like, all right, just make sure you know I have 15% now going forward, and I'll do whatever technical help you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I said, I never once would say that my percent goes down without the site, but I can see how like that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
even looking back, I can see how that can be argued that I don't have a valid claim if he does put a new version out. You know what I mean? And does everything on his own. You know, I probably wouldn't pursue it at all. Like, I'd be like, all right, I don't really have a valid claim anymore. You know what I mean? But if my version of the site still is up, and he does get hot in these next couple weeks, and people start signing up again, in these next couple weeks, and my site's still up, I would expect at least my 10-15%.
Yeah, that
like
would
he
get
did
really
state,
interesting.
that he would. But... Yeah, that would be really interesting. And obviously, like I said, I do hope he wins. It's so tough for him to win, especially now that he's in a losing streak. Like, once he's losing, he's chasing. So now that he's negative units, he's just going to be chasing more, looking for those big chalk favorites that are just going to, you know, not be a good bet long term, because when you lose a couple of them, you know, it just wipes out all the work.
Yeah. How do you think he supports himself other than this? Do you have any idea like where he gets his money to like?
Well, I know he said he's only using his PayPal account. He doesn't even have a bank account right now. He's using PayPal as his bank. So, like, that PayPal account is everything.
But, I mean, he
like,
has
I don't have any information. I don't have any information on that. I mean, he never. He said to me, he was like, I will have a lot of money someday. You know what I mean? He just like vague things, and I'm like, oh, okay, obviously your family has money. Like, that's cool. You know, my family has money too, but they don't give me any money in any way. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, the nature of a trust sometimes, which I'm pretty sure he has, is, you know, you can't freely take money in and out, otherwise it wouldn't be a trust. So I imagine he's got something like that going. But anyway, man,
Yeah, but that really has no bearing on anything, really. Like, that's just sort of, you know what I mean? That's good for him. He has a family that cares about him. He has a family that was willing to set that up for him. You know,
well,
if that's true, if he has something like that.
the
But
reason
that
I'm
really has no
asking,
bearing on any of our business deals, our business facts, our business arrangements, anything in the business going forward, or anything in regard to anything else with us. You know,
yeah, well, the reason I'm asking is
he's
because
still.
you kind of have a unique perspective as far as he goes. Because our interaction with him has been 100% through the thread, and there's been varying levels of like bullshit
Yeah,
going
and he's
on. And
always
so,
going to try to present himself in the best way possible. All I
yeah,
know is he always seemed to have cash. He seemed to be able to get access out to cash out of an ATM, and I believe he did that with like a PayPal debit card.
I don't know anything
So
about that.
like, yeah, I think you can have just like a card where you can go to ATMs and get money out of your PayPal account for no fee or a very small fee. But yeah, he would always have cash. Like, he would always have access to cash. So like, it's not like the guy doesn't have money. Like, we went to, like I said, we went to a health store. He bought a bunch of stuff there, like supplements and stuff and powders. We
Yeah.
went to the pet store. He got some stuff for his turtles.
Oh yeah, the turtles.
And yeah, he's able to. He obviously has disposable income because he's able to like throw money around on these gambling sites. He always has an extra couple, like I said, 150 here, 150 there to fire those missiles. You know what I mean? Sometimes he runs it up big. Most of the times he busts it.
Okay.
Like, that money's coming from somewhere. You know, it's just unclear. I never got specific details. He never said like, oh, you know, I get this much per week transferred to wherever I want, or like I get a check in the mail for this much per week.
Yeah, got it. You don't know. So
Yeah, I really can't shed any light.
all right, because I really
And I never pressed him on the issue either, because like, you know, frankly, that's none of my business. Like I said, if he has trust or not, you know, that doesn't affect. Like, that was my decision to extend him credit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With my name on the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly,
So
dude,
that's my own fault. If he ends up robbing me and paying me back only a little and then not pay the rest, that's my own fault. I take responsibility. It is what it is, you know. Hopefully he does the right thing.
I honestly, dude, I think you have a really level head about this. You're understandably upset. I would probably be way more upset than you. So, good luck, man. I can't even. I don't know. I think I feel really bad for you. Honestly, I feel like I didn't expect.
Well, I don't feel
this.
bad for me, dude, because like I said, I've been very lucky in life. I've been blessed in life. I got a great family, dude. Like, I really have nothing to complain about in life, and I'm happy, too. Like, most people are unhappy in life, and like you said, it's because they come from a bad perspective. They don't feel like they can take control of their own life, whether it be, you know, having discipline to, you know, get up early or go for a walk every day or whatever, you know. And I tried to instill this in Babs, you know, specifically. I'm like, dude, just go for a walk every day, at least something like that, you know what I mean? But most people just don't have that in them.
I think you guys will be friends again. That's my prediction. I think.
Yeah, I could see it. You know, like I said, he's just a very volatile, emotional guy, and you know,
Yeah.
the saying, time heals all wounds. So
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, maybe he'll come to his senses and realize that just gambling is not the thing for him. And like he says, you know, we don't know. Maybe he'll prove us all wrong. Maybe this service will run it up, and he'll go to the Indians and run it up in the corner seat and run up 10K there and put deposits online and smash the books. You know, I hope he does. I genuinely do.
Yeah.
But
Me
we
too.
all know that the chances of that just seem very, very unlikely.
For sure.
And
Well,
he'd
dude,
probably be better off just getting a job in an office, getting a salesman job where he just sells all day and he can make, like you said, 100K a year or something, just really easily, basically. Just doing what he does now. He's trying to sell something that's not worth anything and leave it on a subscription. He could be selling stuff that, like, people actually want and, like, is worthwhile, you know what I mean, and making a ton of money from it.
yeah.
Or even, like, there's so many options. He could run a food truck. Like, he loves food. He loves cooking for people.
Saffron chicken.
Run a food truck down by the Giants game.
Yeah.
Or, you know, other options. Drive a taxi. My Persian friend drives a taxi. He really enjoys it, you know what I mean? He gets... Your income isn't steady, but, like, I was reading the book Anti-Fragile the other day where it's, like, it's actually better to have a non-steady income than have, like, a steady corporate job. Because, like, that taxi driver with his non-steady income, yeah, he's going to have some bad weeks where he only makes a couple hundred. But he's also going to have some great weeks where he makes, like, a couple thousand, you know what I mean? And, like, it all ends up balancing out to about the same income as, like, a corporate salary plus benefits in the end. And you're your own boss, you know what I mean? You get to go drive the cab whenever you want.
Yeah.
And that's just an example, but just, like, there's so many options in life other than this, what he's pursuing so hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
And
agree
I
with
feel
you,
like he
dude.
can be happy in
I
life
gotta.
with some of these other ones, and he's just not in this way. Like, he just gets so miserable when he loses, and it's not worth it, you know?
For sure. Well, I gotta go, dude. I really have to pee. But I wish you the best of luck getting your money back. I hope you guys become friends again, and keep posting in the thread. It's been entertaining.
Yeah, I am. I'm having fun with it, man. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Hopefully, keep trying to participate. And thanks for doing this, pal. You know, I
Oh yeah,
enjoyed the chat.
yeah, me too. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
take care, dude.
All right, pal. See you later.
Bye. Woo, man. He's chatty for sure. Anyways, I'm really sorry about my volume issues if I was having them. I was trying to. His volume was really loud and my mic volume was low, so I'm sorry about that. I turned my mic all the way up, but it's a shitty little $10 mic, so. And also, I feel like I'm losing my voice, so. Thanks for watching. I'll post this on YouTube. I think some of it got snapped off, but thanks for watching. How do I turn this off?